All right, Schlockmeister fans, it's time for The Seduction of Inga. Let's check it out. Meet Inga.
The name is Inga Dahlman. Remember? You've seen me before, 3 years ago to be exact.
Inga's kind of been left high and dry by her boyfriend who left the country.
Boys, these stupid little boys. But why doesn't Carl come back and get me out of this terrible place?
But should you find yourself a little short on money, darling, I know an excellent way for you to increase your bank account.
Her landlord wants her to become like a prostitute
There
or
are
something.
certain men I know who are always interested in the financial welfare of attractive young girls.
So this guy Stig has a job for her as a secretary. He's writing a book, an erotic novel.
Thank you so much for a really beautiful day.
If it's all right with you, we'll start work on the book tomorrow morning.
Remember her landlord said she could find work for her? Well, she holds these like adult shows for people to watch.
No, thank you.
But nope, she doesn't need the show.
Here,
She's got money now.
What's that?
my rent.
How the hell did you get fixed up so fast?
I've got a job.
My book is, it's called Obsession. It's quite a sensual story about an older man who is desperately obsessed by a girl
You can see where
who's
this
young
is
enough
going.
to be his daughter.
Anyway, after hanging out with Stig a little while, they become an item. He gets her a nice dress too.
Yes, but it's so short. I mean, it's too short to wear without panties.
No.
Well, she's gonna put it on, and I can attest that yes, she's right, but I don't care. Their affair quickly escalates, which I can't show you. But what about the age difference?
You're not an old man.
But you're so young. I could be your father.
You're a man, aren't you? I a woman. What difference does age make to us, Steve? I waited 3 weeks and not one word from Steve. The same situation as with Carl. I couldn't bear it. I had to get out of this place.
So she quickly finds a new man named Ralph, a musician in her building.
Now I'll tell you, I'm crazy about you.
A little more age
Sorry
appropriate
if that
too.
upsets you, Inga.
It doesn't, don't worry. There's something I want to tell you. It's about that man. I don't want any secrets between us.
Hey, no, don't. I really wish you wouldn't.
At a club, we hear a song with the two guys from ABBA, which ended up on their first album.
Falling in love with you, I mustn't. There was once a boy, something like you. I was in love with him and he hurt me terribly. I don't want to get involved again.
She spends one more night of passion with him, and then writes him a Dear John letter.
Dear Ralph,
Dear
forgive
Ralph
me.
letter.
I should never have let our relationship go as far as it has.
And then she gets a letter from Stig.
Inga dear, return Friday 4:30 p.m. Miss you so. Meet me at airport with Carl. Love, Stig.
At the same time that he gets her letter, Ralph gets her letter. And then Greta pops in,
It's fantastic. He
Steve's
made me wear my dresses without undertaking.
former flame.
It must be a fetish.
She talks about playing dual roles with him, like a daughter role and other things, dress up, fetishes.
Well, it's me in bed with him.
She's not very nice.
Each time he makes love to little Inga. And we'll see what happens when he sees the real Greta again, no substitute. We'll see how much he needs you.
Will you ask her to pick him up?
Yeah,
She's
but
supposed
it's
to go
something
pick up Stig at the airport, but doesn't want to now.
Well, I'm going out of town.
wrong. I see.
Here. The car's downstairs.
Greta, go away.
Greta pops in by Stig,
Step, Papa. You used to beg me to stay.
calls her Papa.
You changed.
Make note of that.
How very ugly you make it sound. You know damn well that I didn't know who you were.
He rejects her at first, but then they go at it.
What's wrong?
And Stig and Inga meet up
The
again.
villa, I was there when you got home.
She saw them.
I saw you and Greta.
Me and Greta?
Well, he is so distraught at being rejected by Inga, he can't concentrate when he's driving, and then he runs into something. And dies.
Stig is dead.
After the funeral, Greta shows up. Why was she there?
I just buried my poor father.
Father?
You didn't even have the decency to be at the funeral.
I think it's stepfather, actually. Nonetheless, ew. At first, it seemed like she wanted to kill Inga with a broken bottle, but then she decides to pin her down and kiss her. As you do, I guess? There's a lot more to this scene that I can't show you, but you can use your imagination.
Okay, so he's gone. He's dead and buried, and we're all better off. He can never touch us again. With his filthy mouth, his groping hands, his disgusting body.
After all that weirdness, she decides to seek out Rolf, who gladly accepts her back. They wander off hand in
Right or
hand.
wrong, I do love the guy, so I'm taking another chance. I hope it works. If not, I may be back. Who knows?
And that's our film. All right, let's talk about this movie called The Seduction of Inga. It was directed by Joe Sarno, who did a lot of erotic movies back in the day, 60s and 70s. Then he moved on to straight adult films, and I think he did that for the rest of his life. I don't know if he ever went back to, normally regular erotic hot movies. This came out in 1968. It was a sequel to the movie Inga, which also starred the same actress, Marie Lijdal or something like that. Now, IMDb says both movies came out in 1968, although I saw some source that said this came out in 71. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's about it. It kind of picks up, I guess, where the other one left off, which I've never seen before. But this woman named Inga is in Sweden, I think, and she's kind of been abandoned by her boyfriend Carl, who ran off to do a job somewhere in another country or something, leaving her behind and then penniless. So she decides to go get a job. She gets offered a job to basically kind of be like a prostitute or something, but she ends up getting a secretary job working for this guy who's writing a book. But this guy's writing an erotic book. He's an older gentleman named Stig, and they end up having an affair with each other. They fall for each other. And then later on, this other woman comes into the picture named Greta, who apparently was Stig's former lover. And she said she played different roles for him, different dress-up things, and also played like a daughter role at one point. There's also a plot here. The guy lives in the same flat as her, or in the same building, a guy named Rolf, who's a guitarist of some sort, plays in a band. He has an interest in Inga too. But anyway, Inga ends up taking up with her, or with him a little bit, and then Greta comes back in the picture and approaches Stig and says, Stig says, I haven't seen you in a couple of years, and she basically kind of teases him, and he kind of rejected her at first, but then they start kissing and make out again, and then they're doing it, and then Inga sees them, and then she approaches Stig later on and says, what was up with that chick, Greta, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't really want anything to do with him. Stig drives off, and he ends up in a car accident because he's so distraught over this, and he dies. And then Greta shows up and says, I just buried my father. Now, was it an incest type thing? I'm not sure, because I thought she was just kind of role-playing when she mentioned father role. On the internet, I saw something that says he was her stepfather. Stepfather, real father, who the hell knows? But it seemed pretty serious. So I don't know. I think there was something funky going on here. And then she's about to kill Inga with a broken bottle. But then she starts kissing her and they make out. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that scene ends. And then she ends up hooking up with Rolf again at the end and walks off with him and they live happily ever after, perhaps. I don't know. That is The Seduction of Inga. Now, I became aware of this movie, I think it was the summer of 1989. It appeared on cable, and I was taping all these types of movies back then. I taped this one too. I don't think I actually watched it. I ended up seeing it years and years later, and I've seen it couple times since then. It's not a bad film. Is it kind of an erotic film? Yeah, it's well done kind of for what it is. Again, it's not like a jiggle and giggle funny movie. It is straight erotica drama type stuff. It ain't bad. It ain't bad for what it is. Tons of nudity in this movie from our two actresses. The main actress here, Marie Lijdal, I think was 18 at the time when she did this, and she only did a few more movies. She did about 10 movies, maybe. They're all similar in vein to this, and then she decided, you know, I've had enough of this industry. I'm out. So she's been out of it ever since. That was like 1971 was her last film. She's still alive, and apparently she's had some interviews on some DVDs. I don't think she's on this one, but she said she kind of regrets some of these roles that she had when she was very young. But whatever. Anyway, that's The Seduction of Inga. I got this DVD. I've had it forever on this Retro Seduction Cinema. Apparently it's 9,418 out of 20,000 they made of these. I have not seen Inga. I'll probably track that down at some point. I've been meaning to for years. I just haven't got it yet. But whatever. Anyway, I'll leave a link to something down below if you want it. Again, for what it is, it's not a bad film. It is a little erotic. So there you go. 1968. Kind of caught in a vacuum here. Check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about The Seduction of Inga. Watch it. Bye. Oh, by the way, this DVD has another film on here, although it's not Inga. I think it's called An Indelicate Balance. Yeah, that's it. There's 2 discs on here. And I think it says here there's a grindhouse cut of Seduction of Inga too, which is a few minutes longer. But I'm not sure that one's in English. Anyway, can't remember. Anyway, check it out. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about The Seduction of Inga. Watch it. Bye.